afternoon and welcome to First Financial Biz Beat presented by the Business Courier. I'm KYLA Woods. Athletes are known for their winning mindset, and a major corporation here in the tri-state encourages its employees to tap into that competitive spirit. Total Quality Logistics, better known as TQL, is the nation's second largest freight brokerage firm. It's designed a workforce focused on sales. TQL's competitive culture thrives on employees dedicated to getting results and maintaining that momentum, which is why the company is always keeping an eye out for young professionals who played sports. It's now in the middle of a $20 million expansion at its headquarters in Eastgate. The Business Courier's Barrett Brunsman investigated Total Quality Logistics expansion and its competitive mentality this week. Rob Dahmeyer spoke with him about what he learned.
Thanks very much, KYLA. Barrett, thanks for being here. Why did you decide to write about TQL this week?
Rob, Total Quality Logistics is in the midst of a $20 million expansion of their headquarters in Claremont County's Union Township. And the Business Courier has repeatedly cited TQL as one of the best places to work. The whole idea is they're doubling the size of their headquarters to get more space to make it even a better place to attract talent. They've got more than 800 folks who work there now. But when this second building is erected and completed by December, they'll be able to seat up to 2,000 folks at the headquarters.
So you said that'll be done, should be this year, you said?
Yeah, absolutely. By the end of this year, Rob.
Okay, great. TQL is the biggest private company we have in Greater Cincinnati, and it has steadily marched up the ladder over, we've both been at the Courier for a long time, and steadily marched up the ladder until now they're the biggest. But just how big are they?
Yeah, Rob, Ken Oakes, the CEO, founded the company in 1997. They had under $50 million in revenue for the first few years, but this past year they reported revenue of $3.48 billion. Wow. So TQL is the second largest freight brokerage firm in the entire United States.
Okay, so you mentioned freight brokerage, and this is a question I get all the time from readers and from just friends and anybody who, when we talk about TQL, they want to know, okay, freight brokerage, what does that mean? So maybe you can explain it real quick. What does that mean?
Sure. Well, as Total Quality Logistics, the name implies, they line up truck carriers to transport freight for their various clients. And that could include grocery store chains, retailers, and federal government agencies such as the Department of Defense. So last year, TQL moved more than 1.8 million loads across the country.
Wow, and they don't own any trucks or anything like that. It's just not that kind of thing. It's a broker.
Right. And TQL negotiates both with the truck carriers and with the companies that they're moving the freight for, and that turns out to be a pretty lucrative business.
Yes, it is. Really interesting part of your story, I thought, was the emphasis that they put on sports, and specifically varsity sports at TQL. It's a way that they find people, but maybe you can explain a little bit about how high up that reaches at TQL.
Yeah, Ken Oakes was the center on McNicholas High School's varsity football team, and several other members of his leadership team, including President Kerry Byrne, who was the quarterback on the McNick team, now work together at TQL. So they've got this sense of camaraderie, and this idea of competitiveness flows from the top down through an entire workforce of 5,000 folks. TQL loves to recruit young folks out of college, especially those who might have played sports, but they could even have played on the chess team for all TQL cares, just as long as they have that competitive spirit.
Right. Fascinating stuff. It's a wonderful story, well worth your time. And before we let you go, though, I got to tell everybody this is going to be your last appearance on Local 12 on our show, because you are headed off to a new job starting very soon. Maybe you can just quickly tell everybody what you're doing. By the way, Barrett's been with us for about 7 years. Has done a remarkable job covering healthcare and Procter & Gamble for us. We're gonna miss him dearly, but we're also excited for him. Where are you going to be going?
Rob, I'm going to be working as a senior media relations expert for Cincinnati Children's Hospital. It's the largest hospital in Greater Cincinnati, and I can't help but think that my experience covering healthcare for the Business Courier, the top news organization in Greater Cincinnati, prepared me for that task. So I greatly appreciate you and the rest of the team for helping me out over the years.
Well, great. Thank you. And good luck to you there. And thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, Rob.
And back to you.
Thank you so much, Rob, and congratulations to Barrett. Well, after closing a couple of weeks, Kentucky bars are back to pouring pints thanks to the governor's latest orders. And Governor Andy Beshear shut down bars last month due to a surge in COVID-19 cases. His new orders took effect earlier this week. Last call for bars and restaurants is set each night at 10, and they must close by 11. And guests also must remain seated, and they're required to wear a mask unless eating or drinking. Governor Beshear also expanded capacity to 50% and is encouraging outdoor dining. The taps are back on at Mountain Lookout Tavern. It reopened this week after an employee tested positive for COVID-19. Owners tell us a cleaning crew disinfected the entire bar and all of its employees got tested before returning to work. Earlier this month, before closing, Cincinnati Mayor John Cranley called out the tavern, along with 5 other bars, for having the most complaints about following those COVID-19 health orders. And a popular eatery in Over the Rhine is welcoming customers back, but you won't find its popular barbecue on the menu. Pontiac now focuses on chicken wings and tiki cocktails. Owners Daniel and Lena Wright revamped the restaurant, saying it's not worth serving barbecue due to the uncertainty of the coronavirus. Pontiac just reopened this week for the first time since March. Nothing else has changed at the Wrights' other spots, Senate, Abigail Street, and 40 Thieves. A Tri-State Cafe plans to add a bakery and a wine bar when it moves into a new space in a couple of years. Fort Thomas Coffee will relocate to the One Highland luxury condo development. This is what it'll look like when it opens in 2 years. The cafe's new spot also has room for co-working spaces. Right now, you can find Fort Thomas Coffee at 118 North Fort Thomas Avenue. Business is booming at a local company since hospitals are trying to reuse protective gear during the pandemic instead of throwing it away. Standard Textile is overwhelmed with the trend. It creates reusable surgical gowns, shoe covers, and face masks. CEO Gary Hyman explains he's noticing a movement in the healthcare industry to switch to reusable products. Standard Textile just invested $14 million in its manufacturing process. The updated designs can better shield healthcare workers using synthetic materials with tighter weaves. Hamilton County leaders are frustrated since the city of Cincinnati pulled the county's permit to stop work near the Banks project. That means dozens of construction workers are also in limbo. It concerns work surrounding Race Street, and that road will serve as the main access point for the music venue, garage, and public park. County leaders say the halt on construction will affect 75 workers on site. Hamilton County Commissioner Victoria Parks.
It's not even ours. They submitted their permit, and so now they're going back saying that their permit was illegitimate. So you got me.
In a letter to the county, the city states it still owns part of the park property and it wants to take over construction at the park. However, City Council passed an ordinance last November that directs the city manager to transfer that property to the county. This does not affect construction on the actual Banks music venue since it is privately funded. You'll notice a new permanent stage on Fountain Square thanks to Fifth Third Bank. It replaces the temporary setup, and this new stage is directly outside of Graders, creating more room for the square's outdoor ice rink. Fifth Third paid for the project as it renovates its corporate headquarters. 2 local grocery stores will not let you add new products to your online order. Fresh Time is expanding delivery of its baskets, and Kroger will add 50,000 items available for delivery. Those include natural and organic food, housewares, and toys. Kroger is also testing out a new pilot program, letting shoppers pay using mobile banking apps on their phones. A local community has gone without a grocery store for the last decade, but now that is about to change. The new spot is coming to the Avondale Town Center. A city council committee approved a $500,000 grant for the new grocery. Design plans call for an indoor seating area along with a butcher and deli stand. Tanel and Chanel Bryant will run it. They already own the Country Meat Company in Findlay Market. Avondale's community council president explains the new store will improve the quality of life for the neighborhood.
Having access to fresh produce would make a difference in how well we live, how well we age, and it would probably deter the disparities of health. You got to eat right. You got to eat better. You got to eat smart.
The new grocery store is expected to open in the spring. City Council still needs to approve the $500,000 grant, but a supermajority already supports that effort. Well, Joe Biden is expected to accept the Democratic presidential nomination this coming week during the party's national convention. The Ohio Republican on the speaker schedule up next. Biden is set to officially accept the Democratic nomination for president next week during the party's national convention. He has chosen California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. She's the first black and first Indian woman on a major party's presidential ticket. The Democratic National Convention begins Monday with a virtual program highlighting speakers like Senator Bernie Sanders, former First Lady Michelle Obama, and former Republican Ohio Governor John Kasich. It's no secret the pandemic is impacting family businesses right here in the tri-state. Laura Woods co-owns Acme Lock, and our Ilaria Rollins spoke with her about the challenges her family has faced while growing their business.
Thanks, Kyla. Today I have Laura Woods with Acme Lock here. I'm excited to have you today. You're a fourth-generation business owner. Can you tell me how the business has changed and adapted over time since you took over?
Well, we started in 1933 with my husband's grandparents. They started the lock shop, and then my in-laws took over in the late 70s, and my husband and I took over in 2007. And within about a month after us taking over, we found out that the building that we were renting from, that we had rented 74 years, was being sold, so we had to move. Oh. So thankfully, we found a building around the corner on Main Street, and so we moved our lock shop over onto Main Street. And the building there was quadruple the size we had before. So we decided we got to do something with all this space. And being locksmiths, we were already working with the facility managers and maintenance departments and things, and they would always ask us if we sold nuts and bolts and light bulbs and things like that. So we decided we should add a hardware store. So we did that. And then in 2013, we decided we should diversify a little bit more. We had come out of the recession of 2008, and that was a challenge. So we decided to add a door division, because as locksmiths, we were already putting on all the hardware on a door opening, you know, the deadbolts and the knobs and the door closers and thresholds. So then we decided, why not supply the doors and frames? So we ended up opening up a door division. And with that, we also do the glass aluminum storefronts. So that helped diversify our business. And then in 2016, with all of the revitalization going on in OTR and people moving back into the city, all the construction going on, our little hardware store was bursting at the seams and we needed more space. So we bought the building around the corner from there, and now we're at 125 East 9th Street, and I think we've probably quadrupled our space there as well.
Wow.
And opened that up as Woods Hardware and Acme Lock.
Nice. Do you have plans to continue the generational business, and what steps to ensure a smooth transition in the future?
So we have 4 kids, and right now only our oldest is interested in the business. So he had gone to the University of Tampa and gotten his degree in finance and marketing, and was actually doing financial advising for several years, and decided he wanted to come back and get involved in the business. So he came back. I think it's been close to 10 years now.
Okay.
Then he got his degree, or I should say his master's, in entrepreneurship and business at Xavier. So he's been helping us get things a little more diversified as well. And with all of his education and expertise, we decided to name him as our CEO a couple years ago. So
nice.
We're in the process of transitioning and doing a succession plan and working with attorneys and financial advisors. And he actually has a couple of sons that they're still in elementary school right now, but they like to come with their dad to the stores and do some things. So my husband and I should probably retire in maybe 10 to 15 years. So maybe our grandsons will be 5th generation.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Has to feel good. Well, thanks, Laura, for spending time with us today.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Kyla.
Thank you, Ilaria. Well, still to come on First Financial Biz Beat, performing at Music Hall, the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra's plan if something changes before the end of the year. One of Cincinnati's oldest continually operating bar and restaurants is up for sale. You'll find the City View Tavern in Mount Adams on the market because the current owner has decided to retire after 35 years. It first opened back in 1875 and has had only 4 owners. All Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra and Cincinnati Pops performances, of course, are canceled this year, but it will bring music to fans virtually. The CSO and Pops are rehearsing at Music Hall to live stream 7 free shows throughout the fall. Musicians are socially distanced. Ohio is under a strict ban on mass gatherings, and CSO President Jonathan Martin explains the decision to call off the shows was tough, but there's also a backup plan in case things change.
We had to make the tough decision to deconstruct what we had been building for the fall and put back something together that is not only exciting and high quality digital streaming, but something that if things do change, we will be able to accommodate a limited audience if the numbers get lower.
The CSO and Pops have lost millions of dollars in ticket revenue, but have managed to avoid any layoffs. It may surprise you that Big Brothers Big Sisters started right here in the Queen City, and due to COVID-19, they desperately need new bigs and companies to sponsor those matches. Our Jamie Smith spoke with Jay Schatz about what you can do to support these local kids.
Thanks, Kyla, and welcome today, Jake. Glad to have you on. You know, like many
to be here.
Like many great brands like Procter & Gamble, Kroger, and Graeter's, Big Brothers in America started right here in Cincinnati. Is that correct?
That is true. Another source of homegrown local pride. America's first Big Brother was Cincinnati businessman Irv Westheimer, who was looking out his window of his office downtown Cincinnati, saw a young man rummaging through the trash, bought him lunch, took him home, saw that he was the, part of a fatherless family, and started a mentoring movement that has grown all across the country. America's first Big Brother was a Cincinnatian.
Yeah, that's excellent. I know most of our viewers probably have heard of Big Brothers Big Sisters and a lot know what it is, but can you explain to the audience a little bit about your mission?
Well, I think our mission is best summed up in our tagline. We are defenders of potential, and that's what we've been doing for more than 100 years. We bring positive adult role models into the lives of at-risk children. These are children who want to succeed, who want to do well in school, want to go to college, want to get a job, and want somebody, a big brother or big sister, to help guide them through the many challenges that they face. And the return on investment in our community is that all throughout our community, in business offices and factories and homes everywhere, are little brothers and little sisters who have grown up to be the people that they wanted to be.
That's incredible. Now, not that the role has changed, but can you talk a little bit about the role during COVID and the importance of mentoring during, what was a challenging school year and from what it looks like could be just as challenging this year?
Well, Jamie, think about for your family, for all families, how stressful things have been. Imagine going into COVID already in a stressful household, already having a vulnerable family, having trouble making rent or getting to school or doing homework. I mean, most vulnerable children in our community have really been impacted, not just by COVID, but also this whole new discussion about racial, equity in our community. There's a lot that is being thrown at these children. And COVID has hit hard. And what our volunteers have been doing, and our social workers, because every match has a social worker. So we are helping these children and their families navigate this. If they need food, if they need help with rent, if they need help finding internet, to do homework, we are helping them do that. And especially as we start the school year, the role of a positive role model to help do homework, to help deal with the disappointment, the uncertainty is really critical. But we've been hit both sides of this. The demand for mentors is increased, but we're also losing mentors. I mean, you know better than anybody. Everybody's been hit by this.
Right.
So we are losing big brothers and big sisters who are moving out of the community to be with family, who've lost their jobs, all of those things. So what we need now, and the appeal to everybody watching, is to volunteer. I know everybody is concerned about safety. Here's an opportunity to do something good, to increase your impact without increasing your risk. We are doing all of our matches virtually now. All of our volunteers are obviously screened and interviewed. All of that is being done virtually. We have our social workers who are making the matches. And so what a great way to have a positive impact on a young person to begin to do it virtually. Hopefully, we'll go back to the good old days of 10 months ago when we could, see our little brothers and little sisters in person.
Yeah.
And it's, think of you can order dinner. You could send dinner and share a meal with your little brother, or little sister. Play games. You explore the zoo virtually, explore careers, do a college tour virtually. So safe.
Well, we're gonna put the website up here for our viewers to see. But I would just urge all of you to reach out, whether it's volunteer recruitment, whether it's just some donations for sponsoring the matches. I know that's
right.
a lot for some of these these kids to match. So please give them a call. I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
You guys are a sponsor of 40 Under 40 this year. We think.
Oh, we're so excited.
So we're looking
What
forward
great
to that.
potential achieved.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jay, and good luck to you in your endeavors.
Great. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely. Back to you, Kyla.
Thank you, Jamie, and thank you for joining us for First Financial Biz Beat. Have a wonderful and safe weekend.